Alright, I'm going to bring my conversation back into the time where we were children. And by children, I mean probably around the age of 7 to maybe around 10 or 12 years old, or right before the time when you started really caring about politics and religion and all of the major events of society that make our society what it is. Um, and just try and look at it from a child's perspective. If you were a child, first put yourself in the shoes of yourself at the age of, let's just say, 7. And then try to put yourself in the shoes of someone who was not in a first world country and may have been suffering from poverty or may be suffering from some other disaster that has happened, either natural or man-made. Let's just say this time it is a man-made disaster. The thing is that most of these man-made disasters that are happening in the Middle East are for religious and political purposes. Now, as a child, you probably don't care about these religious or political ideologies that go on, but you are just sad because one person has to kill another. Let's just say your dad was fighting, and so was somebody else. And one day you find out that your father is dead. You cry and cry and cry, but unfortunately this violence keeps on going on. Now you grow up wondering why this violence had to keep on going on, and you had your father dead for several years, and eventually the rest of your loved ones die out sooner. The rest of your loved ones die out as you grow older. Yeah, sure, you still have some friends left. You still have very little family left. But all throughout this time, you had your family members die. By the age of 14, you finally figure out what the hell this was all about. And you find out that it was because of religion and politics. Now you ask yourself, is this really worth it because of religious or political motives? Is it really worth it just because your religion says so, that another person shall die? Do you think that you as a child think that anybody else should have died at the age of 8? Besides maybe the people that you were angry at for killing your father, your best friend, or your mother, or your uncle, or your sister, or your brother. Think about that. Now, from an adult standpoint, it's perfectly fine, well, and good, because this happens all the time. And this happens all the time because of political and religious motives. And this is just part of a society. Now, which one do you think is the more reasonable approach to things? Looking at it from a child's point of view, where it should not happen, and it should not be part of our society just to kill one another because of political and religious purposes? Or do you think that it is justified because it's just part of a society and that's just how society works? Think about that. And I think you'd get your answer that it's not just part of society and that's just how society works and always will work if we get together and we finally come up with the idea that maybe religion and politics don't really matter that much, and maybe we should go back to the era where we started thinking of like children, except having more wisdom and having more knowledge of our world around us. Maybe we can shape our world in the ideologies and the eyes and feelings of the child who lost their mother, father, uncle, aunt, brother, sister, or best friend. Peace.